Hi, I'm County Commissioner Josh Kerns. Thank you for joining us for Spokane County Spotlight. On this month's episode, you will see as I deliver the 2018 State of the County Address, recorded on March 16th in front of a live audience at the annual Greater Spokane Incorporated event, recorded at this Spokane Convention Center. As I travel throughout the county, the one thing that constituents are most amazed by is the scope of services that fall under county government. We have over 50 departments, 2,100 public servants that are providing services for the nearly 500,000 people that live here in Spokane County. We've prepared a short video for you to give you an idea of the services that we provide and to introduce you to the men and women of Spokane County.
I have the honor of working with over 2,000 very dedicated employees, providing over 50 services to the citizens of Spokane. Our vision is to become the state's flagship government agency. Services to the citizens of Spokane, everything from road maintenance to the courts to facilities. We provide law enforcement services, the whole criminal justice, from prosecuting attorneys to public defense to detention services. We have building and planning through our other elected officials other than Board of County Commissioners. We have the Treasurer Department, which is the county's bank. We have the assessor that does the assessment of all the properties. We have the auditor that is responsible for motor vehicles and the auditing functions for the county. We have parks and recreation and golf courses.
Spokane County Parks, we proudly serve and care for over 14,000 acres of park properties and various facilities and amenities that serve the community. We have 31 full-time employees that are very proud of what they do. When I think of Spokane County Parks, I think of really two items come to mind, and that's community and economic development. In terms of services, we provide aquatic facilities, championship 18-hole golf, 3 different courses. We have our Conservation Futures program. We have your traditional parks. We offer several recreation programs, adult leagues, and we accommodate many large events throughout the park system. We have a tremendous amount of successful partnerships to help market our community, to get the word out. Folks want to know, businesses want to know what facilities and amenities related to recreation, whether it's programming or wandering on your own, what is available to do.
One of the things that all 2,000 plus of our employees realize is that we provide services to all the citizens of the county, regardless of what city that they may live in. One of the things that I find that separates our employees from others is that deep desire to do the good for the public, their family, their neighbors, provide essential services. And I think there's something special in people that choose public service, and I'm very proud to work with all of the employees here.
Spokane County Veterans Services, a co-located regional office for veterans services. This is a great innovative idea from Spokane County to partner with the State Department of Veterans Affairs to better serve the veterans in this region. So Spokane is home to 44,000 veterans, with our surrounding counties bringing in another 20,000 on top of that. So we have a great relationship with Fairchild. A lot of folks transition out of Fairchild Air Force Base and make Spokane their home. So we have a really strong bond with our veteran community here. A lot of our veteran community go on to great organizations right here in Spokane County. We just want to make sure that they have the support they need to have that successful transition. So we provide emergency financial assistance as one of our main purposes to execute the Spokane County Veterans Relief Fund. We provide transition services to Fairchild Air Force Base. We provide utility assistance, food or grocery assistance. Sometimes we provide rental assistance depending upon the situation. We really try and provide employment services and those services that'll connect veterans to a positive outcome in the future. I cannot say enough about the amazing dedicated team we have here at Vet Services. The majority of our veteran service officers are veterans themselves, and the common core element that they have is they all honor military service. They're very dedicated and passionate about helping what they consider their brothers and sisters in arms.
Because of the challenging financial model that counties have to work under, it's always a challenge to find enough resources to provide the level of service that our citizens deserve. One of the things that we've undertaken is that we've been working very hard on lean management principles to be as efficient as we possibly can. Being good stewards of these limited resources is probably one of the most important things that all of us as county employees can do for our taxpayers.
Public Works Department is responsible for constructing, maintaining, and operating all the roads in Spokane County. We maintain over 2,500 miles of roadway, 166 bridges, over 10,000 drainage structures. We have a fleet of trucks and graders, sweepers, all kinds of heavy road maintenance equipment that goes out, and we do snow removal, we do sweeping on roads. We have a separate fleet that helps us maintain the traffic signals and signs. We have 120 employees in our maintenance section that are dedicated to just getting people home safely, getting business and transportation and freight where it needs to go, and just making it a safer place to live. Truly a unique place to work.
One of the most exciting things that are going on right now at the county is that we've involved all of our employees, from the top managers to the line folks, to welcome them into project teams to work on efficiencies that I think really are going to set us up for success in the future. For instance, visit our new website, a collaborative effort. It's exciting, it's easier to use. If you're down here on the campus, take a look around at the new signage. It makes it much easier to find where we're going to go. We're embarking on a multi-year budget process where we look out into the future, and instead of reacting, we can be proactive on some of our programs. And I'm very excited for the new workforce. We are setting up the 21st century workforce right now at the county.
I would really like to take a moment and recognize all of the Spokane County employees who are here today. So if you could all please stand and be recognized for the wonderful service that you provide for our community. I would also like to take a moment and especially recognize Nancy Hill, who runs Scraps. Nancy will be retiring soon after 32 years of service to Spokane County. Nancy, thank you. As chair of the Board of Spokane County Commissioners, along with my two seatmates, we have the responsibility of leading all of these departments to provide a cost-efficient, effective government. As chair, I sit on over 20 boards and commissions. Those range from everything from the Solid Waste Advisory Committee to the GSI Board to the Spokane Regional Health District Board of Directors. But one of the most important jobs that I have as chair is helping facilitate the discussion on developing a sustainable and balanced budget for 2019. But before we start on the discussion of our 2019 budget, I'd like to give you some insight on the process we went through in developing our budget for 2018. When we began developing our 2018 budget last summer, we were faced with a $9.4 million shortfall. The most common question that we received from folks was, how did you get here? But the dose of reality facing all counties across Washington State is that we operate under a broken business model. Spokane County in particular, over the last 10 years, has been hit hard by the effects of unfunded state mandates, annexations, rise in expenses, and of course, the Great Recession. But I'm not here to talk about that today, because quite frankly, most of you in this room have all heard that before. What I'm here today is to talk about how we are going to focus on living within our means to face the financial reality that we live in today. Our first attempt last year to address this shortfall was to place a levy lid lift on last November's ballot. It was only a short time after placing that measure on the ballot that we saw the legislative fix that came out of Olympia to address the McCleary decision. That legislative fix will result in an average of 87 cents per $1,000 of assessed value on your homes, on your property taxes this year. The reason we put that measure on the ballot was to give us an unbiased answer on the level of services Spokane County residents wanted and how they wanted to pay for it. After seeing that large tax increase that will be coming down this year, Commissioner French and I did not feel we would get that unbiased answer, and we made the decision to remove it from the ballot. But as we moved forward in our budget writing process, we knew that we were going to be committed to bringing more transparency to the process. What we did on September 19th, we passed a resolution that committed us to holding a minimum of 3 public hearings to allow for citizens to come in and share with us what their priorities were in crafting a budget, what services meant most to them, as well as if they had any cost savings measures that they wanted to recommend for the budget. We exceeded those 3 meetings and we ended up holding 7. We saw this also as an opportunity for us to make all of our budget documents easily accessible to the public on our Spokane County website. And we encouraged folks to communicate with us in a variety of avenues. We were blown away by the response that we received from the public. In 2 hearings alone, we had over 100 people show up and share with us what their priorities were for county government and for crafting a budget. We were grateful for the impact that we received from the public, because when we pass a budget, it's not just a budget for the county commissioners, it's not just a budget for the departments, it's a budget for the entire county. And to get us started down this road, we asked each of our department heads and elected officials to bring forward to us a proposal of what a 7% cost reduction would look like to their budget. This was to give us a good jumping off point and for what we presented to the public to show them what these impacts would be. And leading us in these discussions was our new Chief Budget Officer, Tanya Wallace, who is here with us today. Tanya, please stand and be recognized. But 7% varies greatly from department to department at Spokane County. For example, 7% for our hearing examiner is a little less than $15,000. 7% for our sheriff's department would have been over $1.3 million. But over the course of several months and several public hearings and presentations to numerous community groups, we received over 70 comments from the public, whether it was by phone call, emails, or letters. And we received 107 comments from Spokane County employees on cost savings measures. The overwhelming message that we heard from the public was to protect the current level of funding for our frontline law enforcement. After all of these hearings, these presentations, the board adopted their budget on December 4th. This is Spokane County's $738.2 million budget. This includes everything from our special revenue funds, our enterprise funds, internal service funds, and our debt service funds. But this 24% here, this is our general fund. This is where we were most focused on, because this is what provides for public safety, everything from our sheriff to our prosecutor to our courts to our jail, our general government, which is our administrative services, everything from our auditor, our assessor, our treasurer, as well as our parks and recreation. And I would like to point out, each of these graphs is located in the handout on your table to give you an opportunity to see all the details on how much money is spent in each of these departments, as well as the total number of FTEs. Another reason why we're so focused on this part of the budget is because the general fund is the fund that is most impacted by the health of our economy and is most impacted by legislation that is passed at both the state and federal level. To close the gap on that $9 million shortfall, the budget included a 1% increase on your property taxes, which equates to roughly $570,000. It's a maximum amount allowed by law in Washington state. It also included $4.5 million in property taxes above our legal general fund taxing authority through what is called the road shift. The road shift is where we move banked taxing capacity from roads to the general fund and levy it there. The budget also included just under $1.6 million in direct cuts to departments at the county, as well as contributions to outside agencies. The final adopted budget for 2018 protected public safety, it provided for our parks, and funded our statutorily mandated services. But we must dig deeper for 2019. We owe it to you as taxpayers that we will examine every other option available before we increase your property taxes. We will continue to work with our other elected officials at the county, our other department heads, to find more efficiencies, to find those cost savings measures, really think outside the box. We need to take a step back and we need to ask ourselves, what is county government and what should county government be funding? We will be looking at spending like any business would, like any family would. We must separate the must-dos from the nice-to-dos. Because the fact is, county governments are not flush with cash anymore. And we will find a way to do the people's business while living within the people's means. The implementation of the road shift for ongoing expenses is not an ideal practice. It just shows the broken business model that county governments operate under. When it's used for one-time expenses, for like when Spokane County purchased the transfer stations from the city, or for capital improvement projects in the jail, that may have made sense. But 2018 is behind us, and now we look forward to 2019 in developing the budget. In January, we started the process of developing 2019's budget. As I mentioned earlier, we received over 100 cost savings measures from county employees, many of them frontline employees who see firsthand where cost savings measures can be found. We will be examining each of these items to see what the potential savings are and if they can be implemented. This also represents the earliest date in recent history where our county has started the budget writing process. As I mentioned earlier, I'm focused on facing reality today to live within the current environment that we are faced with. As part of the 2019 budget development process, we're also taking a hard look at what services are mandated by state statute and what services are discretionary that the county is funding. As public servants, it is our duty to be looking at the best way that we can adjust with the times to live within the reality that we are faced with. We will be going through each of these items because we should not be funding duplicative services that are provided elsewhere. We will be asking the question, what does county government have a role in, and what does county government not have a role in? But as we move forward, there are a lot of things that I am very optimistic on the horizon. Later this year, we will have a new Costco opening on North Newport Highway. This will act as a major anchor retail store on the north part of the county that will attract additional sales tax growth for unincorporated county. Last year, we signed an agreement with the City of Spokane to create a public development authority on the West Plains to promote economic development around the airport property and provide for needed infrastructure improvements. Sales tax growth has been very strong in Spokane County right now. When you compare Q2 of 2016 to Q2 of 2017, total taxable retail sales increased 7.4%, and we expect to see that trend continue. And as I mentioned earlier, we finally have a fix to the Hearst decision, and rural land developers can now acquire a building permit and begin construction. Another way that Spokane County is leading the way of being a smart, effective government is seen through our pursuit of establishing an integrated response 911 center. The City of Spokane and Spokane County together spend a combined $30 million on 911 call receiving, SPD dispatch, Sheriff's Office dispatch, and fire dispatch throughout the county. Leaders from both the county and the city have traveled and visited multiple integrated 911 response centers and believe if we can replicate that here, there is savings of millions of dollars of potential for the taxpayers. This is just another way where we are working to provide a better service to our citizens at a lower cost through economies of scale. Long term for the county, we have some great things coming up. Soon, we are going to be releasing an RFP for a piece of property that the county owns up off of 395 near the Wandermere Shopping Center. We would like to see a mixed-use land development occur up there to provide office space, retail, and housing to add to our base of sales tax and property tax for the county. We have a major road construction project on Bigelow Gulch that is slated to be completed by 2022. This project will not only remedy safety concerns along that route, but will also enhance what has become a major freight corridor for our region. We actually had a groundbreaking ceremony on Tuesday at the intersection of Bigelow Gulch and Forker Road. Also, with the North-South Freeway fully funded at the state level, the potential for land in North Spokane County is limitless. A few months ago, Spokane County launched our very own Spokane County On-the-Go mobile app. This is an app that will allow county residents to be able to access resources, news, information, agendas for our meetings, new announcements that are coming out from the county. It can be downloaded on your handheld devices, your phones, your tablets. It will provide convenient access to booking tee times at one of our golf courses, as well as reserving space at one of our campsites. You'll be able to renew your pet tabs on this app as well. It can be downloaded on both Apple and Android devices, and it'll direct your attention to the handouts on your table. We have step-by-step instructions on how to download it. Or you can just visit SpokaneCounty.org and see those step-by-step instructions as well. And finally, Spokane County recently acquired a building in the University District to house our new medical examiner's facility. We're going to make this facility available for our medical students in the area. We are working with our state legislators to gain additional funding for renovation costs. But in the most recent supplemental capital budget that was passed in Olympia, we were granted $1.25 million to help with those renovation costs. This is something that will not just be an asset for Spokane County, it will also be an asset for the 11 counties in Washington and Idaho that rely on Spokane County for their autopsy services. And this will also be an opportunity to give our area medical students exposure to a specialized field of study that is in dire need of professionals. Now, I'd like to ask a question here as I close. How many of you are residents of Spokane County? And there's a reason why I'm seeing so many hands, because whether you live within a city or not, you are a resident of Spokane County. The decisions that we make at Spokane County impact each and every one of you. Now, I'd like to request something of all of you today, all of you Spokane County residents. We want to know what is important to you. What county services mean the most to you? You will find a card on your table today with a list of services that Spokane County provides. We would like to ask each of you to please pull them out and select your top 5 priorities. What are the 5 priorities? What are the 5 services that are most important to you? You can please leave those cards on the table today, or if you'd like to take them with you and email me your answers later, that's totally acceptable. As I look out over this room, I see leaders in business, education, healthcare, real estate, churches. The list goes on and on. We want to hear what your priorities are. What means most to you? Because as I said, when the county drafts a budget, when we adopt a budget, it is not just a budget for the commissioners. It's a budget for the entire county. We welcome your input, and we thank you for it. I'm Josh Kerns, and thank you very much for being here today. Have a wonderful rest of your day.